Istimewa. Hah?
For your money.
But have you been around? Have you been around? This is the Vatican. Yeah.
So this might be like what is this? We can recycle the wax until like say 20 and get 30. Oh, that's good. Yeah. And this thing here is from copper. So this is like every batik place. So have you guys seen keris before? Keris is like a traditional weapon, not Indonesian. It's like Japanese. If no, keris. Keris is like this. So you put respect. The more bend, the more expensive they are. And some of them they have far more. And this one is from Jogja. For the whole Jogja. So over there, okay guys, let's take a turn. So this is the fitness room of Dr. Fajar. That's why we dancing room. Oh yeah, by the way guys, most of the presidents around the world, even Pope, has been here. Yeah, and with the German consort. Yeah, it's been here. Yeah, twice actually. That is from here. So, well. So this on your right here, this is why oh yeah guys, one more thing. Jojo, if you see people in Jogja or Solo have Jojo, this is like the status symbol. Like if you're in German, you have Mercedes something. Oh no, that's not nice. What is Jojo? This is Jojo. This special house is just to show you reports from Indonesia, and this is my father. And then this is the 10th. But I'm not from the 10th, it was from the 9th. So whatever during that time, you don't have to just so this is my mother. This is the Jogja. Okay, bro. Let's.
Please take your seat anywhere you want in this area.
Better here. Here.
So I will explain to you later. But from yesterday until today, what you've been served in the mosque last time and also here is all traditional. But we provide 2% with a vegan and vegetarian, so no worries. We have like satay, which is like kebab. We call it satay, but we have it in vegan also. So we will serve you that. Just please enjoy because everything will be traditional. Gudeg is like jackfruit that is fermented jackfruit and it's rather sweet. But we'll have a combination between salty and sweet. So please enjoy. And we also will serve you Jogja's royal drink. It's called secang. Secang is actually from a tree, so a wood, and the color that it's created is red. And we also use it for batik. Okay, this is all from natural ingredients. The red color is not syrup, but it's from a tree that I explained. And we have also ginger inside and others. I think it's about 8 leaves inside there. Girl who's blossoming into a woman, and right now they're beginning to like make up. And so I present to you Tari Sekar Pujiastuti. He will introduce himself, and also Dr. Waryani Fajarianto, as you already know. We can have like a relaxed discussion about religion or anything about religious harmonization in Indonesia. Maybe if you have any question, this is the expert that can explain to you whatever it is that you want to ask, especially about Indonesia. About Bapak Aris, so he can introduce himself.
Thank you very much. So, I'm Aris Mungaya. I'm an anthropologist. So, I'm more interested in the political anthropology. My very recent research is about violence extremism, so religious extremism. I've been doing that research about 4 years. So, before I moved from Malaysia to Indonesia, I was doing that kind of research.
Hello, my name is Sarah Gejabat, and I'm always fascinated when I come to Muslim-dominated countries. Let's say, I know Indonesia is not a Muslim country, how they manage to include and get along with the local culture, with culture inspiration from outside, and how do you think it is possible to explain to hardliners that it is possible to have a mosque under one roof where you as well do dancing, like we just... This is not possible under one roof to have the mosque and this. I think it's possible, I'm glad to see this place, but what arguments do we have?
Culture itself is very strong. Actually. It's much stronger than the religion to some extent. Yeah. So it is important. So that's why we can mingle together in understanding to each other. So although that we have a different religion, for example, in my family, my sister is a Hindu, myself is Muslim, and some of my father's relatives are Christian and Catholics. So they are very mixed. So we already get used to that kind of difference. So we respect the difference. That's the important thing, and it is very much based on the culture. So, but what kind of democracy? I believe that deliberative democracy is the good way to moderate this situation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bapak Aris Arif. Nggak sampun, because of the time. So, but thank you very much. Actually, there's like more people here, but also I would like to remind you that the JNE, the Kiai Haji Aswin Rosi from yesterday, he has this organization, and we are under the JNI, and we have like about 400 professors and academics, and Pak Aris is one of them, and also today we have from Ahmadiyah 2% activists from Ahmadiyah, but because of the time, so probably Dr. Fajar want to maybe ask you a question and see comments about what you think about these 2 days events, especially regarding Dr. Kiai Haji Aswin Yusuf, and what do you think of the event, about his preach yesterday, or discussion, or anything that is what you think about all the 2 events. Yeah, I think, can we start from Mr. Roberto Martini? Can anybody maybe take just 1 minute to be on the stage, because it's very valuable for us and for our future and evaluation especially. Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, that's a good question. So let me try to summarize, because there are also some general impressions about Indonesia. So I think first of all, the first words that I was just thanking you for all this, because it was extremely helpful, and I learned a lot. That's also a point. You know, in a world I'm starting to becoming a little bit older, so not having thinking not to have too much to learn. I learned a lot, and I also have some ideas, by the way, also on how maybe use this also for an example for you. So that the first lesson I would like to say is that yes, we have a local situation, we have a local specificity, but we have a principle that is something that goes beyond country, goes beyond the particular situation, but as a general principle. It's something that has a certain, let's say, very widespread impact. So this is the first point. The second point I've taken is that essentially from yesterday, the discussion we had yesterday, is that this perception that we tend to lose in Europe, that Islam is a religion of peace, is an inclusive religion, is a religion that when we say the reference to the art, it was extremely important, because in a way, let me say, I was also recognizing something from my religion, from my education when I was a child, when I was going to catechism. So there are some elements that are certainly common, and which of course is good to say they touch the art. They touch the art because we do not recognize them as a foreign, as something that is outside our culture, but we see that besides the color, the setting, there are things that are really common, are really the same, and this is the thing we have to use to build up a real friendship, a real relationship, something that is lasting. Because this was the other point we had to say, there are a number of things in the modern world that are false, that are sort of superstructure, so they are a little bit artificial. And what is important is coming back to what is the real, meaning of life, the real meaning of, let's say, having something to do, having something to share with the others, and also contributing to the progress of the society. So this is what I would have, what I take it from the experience. Then, of course, we can discuss a little bit in detail. But if you allow me, I would like to stop on this point, because it's the general point, and the fact that it's also something we can come back, not as something of exotic, but as something of a part of us that is, in my opinion, the most important thing I learned in these 2 days. Thank you very much.
Next.
What I take with me of yesterday's discussion is a very small discussion I had during the lunch after the presentation. But you see, the link is very important. Together with my neighbor, who was a professor, we had a discussion about the fact that in both Christianity and Islam, there is a reference to ancient Greek philosophy. And we had a very long discussion about Aristotle during the lunch, and it was very interesting to see how many references we had in common. And there is this line in Aristotle which made us talk for almost 10 to 15 minutes about the fact that happiness and morality are habits. So you can educate your heart in this direction, and it was very much in line with the preach that we had before, but coming from a different source. And this is what I take with me of yesterday's discussion.
So, I'm still in the process of digesting and understanding. So I'm learning every day, and I'm extremely interested to see how it works in Indonesia, and also the role of the organization. And so I have to say that I don't have a lot to say. I'm just really processing and extremely happy to be here and to have the opportunity to learn so much.
Thank you very much. Next.
Okay, I think yesterday's speech was quite awakening, and personally I found the elements of my own religious education. I have one comment to make. I think we discussed it already, but I will say it publicly here. I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer. I've been involved in technology assessment, evaluation of technology, and I was a bit surprised to see that there was this idea of opposing science and technology with religion. Personally, I don't think it's the case. I think the two can go hand in hand. It's like everything, it's like a knife. You can use it to cook food or you can use it to kill. But you have to use it the right way, with your heart. And that's true also for technology and science. Without technology and science, we wouldn't be so healthy, the population would not have developed. So that's my only minor comment. But other than that, I fully support what has been said, and I agree.
My impression of this allocution yesterday was just following on the point of our colleague. It was the fact that he was giving this too much focus on the good parts of religion, disregarding what is good also about technology and science. And as we are talking about the heart, for me, it got the idea being too, in a way, too esoteric. Because yes, we have a heart that can lead us in the right direction if we make the right interpretation. However, who is to say what is the right interpretation? And there are so many ways to do it. That's what leads also to radicalism. And I particularly think that one should be able to have a focus more on why religion can also be a force of negativity in the world, in order to have a balanced discussion.
Sorry, I was out for a work call. The question is from yesterday's event, what we take? Okay. Yeah. I'm touched from the first second I arrived to the Indonesian floor by the hospitality and the degree of, yes, the wisdom of heart education, which is how to have human interactions in a way that are respectful. And the speech yesterday underlined that I like the idea of the university of soul or of heart, hati, because this is also, I agree with Christophe, what we hear and what we see is in accordance with a lot of traditions in ancient Greek history or Vatican Council, who said that we shall respect everything which is true and holy in the other religion. And I would even extend, we shall respect everything which is true and obviously holy in each human being. And I feel that this is what's going on here. So I take this away to remember that there is this holy place in all of us, and where the light comes from, and that we are not about to judge anyone or anything, but always remind ourselves that this is our bridge, like the Panchasila is a bridge, and to try to make our best with diversity. Thank you.
Thank you. Two things which really did an impression on me yesterday was firstly in the mosque when the person translating, I thought he was he's the president, right? He's the front PR, yeah. The fact that he got emotional for a second, because he was saying in the beginning that I had a background in finance. I was working in the financial sector in finance for 20 years. I've been educated in London and in the United States. And then when he was talking about, when he was translating something about when it was reaching the core of the religion, he became emotional, which is not the thing you expect from someone working who has worked for 20 years in the financial sector. And it made me, it was a moment of self-reflection, because I also work in the financial sector, kind of, be it on the regulatory affairs. And also I have the same thing when I talk about religion, which I almost never do. When I talk about my religion, I also can get emotional. And you don't expect it from traditionally from a man first, and second from someone who works in such a boring field as finance. But even there, the love of God penetrates. So that was a beautiful moment. And the second moment was when we visited the church yesterday. When we visited the church, I had a nice discussion with the priest, and he was saying to me, well, it's interesting to see a young Catholic from Europe, because I know the churches in Europe are getting empty and the mosques are full, but the churches are empty. I said, yes, it's true, because when I go to church, I'm usually there the only one below 60, and then there are 5 or 6 more people over 60 years old, and I'm there as the only one of 30 who's there. So it can be very lonely sometimes, and it's very striking that you have to travel 2 days, but you come into a society which is first of all predominantly Muslim, which we will not have in Europe until 2050 approximately. But I have to travel this far to a majority Muslim country, but I feel more at home here within my own religious community than I feel at home in Belgium, which is closer to Rome supposedly. So those were 2 moments which were for me personally very striking, and which I will have to reflect on for many more days and months and a lot of time to come. It was very fruitful.
The first real thing is I'm really touched about by the hospitality. We are welcome everywhere. There is a big exchange, and that's really deep. So I'm really happy about this exchange. The second thing is I'm also surprised that it gave me hope. What was said yesterday, especially in the mosque, that's inspiring, because it means that it's possible to create bridges between people, between citizens, and also between religions. And sometimes in Europe, we begin to think that this kind of hope are disappearing because everything happened with the terrorism and so on, with the radicalism. And some people begin to believe that's not possible to live together anymore. And when I heard what I heard yesterday, it was so wise and so about the living together, it gave me hopes. And there was so many tolerance and so many harmony in what was said. Yeah, and I'm this kind of guy, and I think that we have everything. We have that in common here all together. We prefer to build bridges than to build wall. And in the world for the moment, a lot of people, a lot of government are building wall. So it's maybe our task to build the bridges. Thank you.
So I found the speech of Mr. Yusuf yesterday very impressive, and after the event I was placed on his table for lunch, and I was very happy because I had the possibility to ask him a very important question, because I also remember the sentence, if you kill one man, you kill the whole mankind. And I asked him if it's one of the principles of Islam if you kill one man, you kill the whole mankind. Why do we have so many Islamic terrorists in the world who kill thousands, 10,000s? We saw it in Bali in 9/11, Boko Haram, and Europe everywhere. And he answered, there's no hierarchy in Islam, and these terrorists do not interpret Islam in the right way. And I found it very interesting that it's an open debate also inside Islam, and it's a kind of wound, so I understood it. And that was very interesting because it's an important question inside the Islamic community. And the second thing I found very interesting and very good tomorrow in the Islamic University, the conclusion of the presentation was the main goal in Indonesia is to have democracy and pluralism. And I found that's a great thing, and I hope one day we can get such a kind of moderate Islam also in Europe.
Thank you. I'm Nathan. I'm actually just a photographer, but what I observed yesterday and today, I was very moved by. Actually, also because I think I kind of agree with Sarah. Because what I learned, my approach basically usually is, that's why I turned to photography instead of something else. It's a very hands-on approach, and I feel like what we experienced within the group itself and with the kind hospitality here the last 2 days was the right step for that. So to experience hands-on how things are, and yeah, voice of our heart, I think doesn't matter where it comes from, but I think if we all, of course, live after these principles, it can only be a better world. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm the last one. I mean, how can I say anything more than everyone's already said? So I'll keep it brief. I'm still processing everything that's been kind of talked about over the last 2 days. So I'm not sure I can give my full response to that right now. But what I would like to kind of point out is my kind of gut experience of what people have already talked about is the hospitality. And I think that's really important because more than just words, more than just kind of trying to explain what Islam is and what Islam is, I've really experienced an openness, a willingness to exchange, and also this kind of time that people are taking to answer our questions and to explain to us exactly how it works here in Indonesia. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your comments, and that is very beautiful. And this is also the thing that we want to show you, that this is Indonesia, this is not Arabian, or this is not Europe, and this is how we live. We live with each other. My husband's family is like Chinese, they're Muslim and Christian and Catholic and atheist and everything else. And all of us, this is how actually we live. So if today, if you see something about Muslim that is so bad from when you're in your country, about Indonesia, well, actually we live in peace. There's just some people and some terror that's doing it, but everyone else, like majority of our people, we live in peace and we love each other. I think that's, I hope you can bring onto your country with that note. And thank you very much, and maybe Dr. Fajar would like to say something? Okay, picture session.